So this unboxing is Rajani LaRocca's Red, White, and Whole, and it is a novel in verse that is, I would say, the closest to her heart. It's kind of the story of her own, walking two cultures, and it won the Caldecott honor. And I bought it actually at the Blue Bunny bookstore and was just carrying it with me on the airplane to go to the USBBY conference in Tennessee. I didn't even know Rajani would be there. She was a speaker, and I just knew her because she lives in the Boston area as well. And so I was able to get her to sign it for me because I saw her there. She's so sweet. She actually had rented a car because her daughter goes to Vanderbilt where the conference was, and gave us a ride to the airport. And also, I also took a novel and verse class, and she and Chris Barron taught it, and it was like a 2-session Zoom class, and then there was a lot of office hours. It was actually pretty incredible, especially given the price. And so she talked about this book, and she described as I guess one key for a novel in verse is to have sort of what she calls a keystone poem, that kind of, it's the structure and heart and soul of the whole story. And she said which one was her keystone poem. Excuse me, it's so much pollen here. But I honestly don't remember which one was her keystone poem. So I'm just gonna read 2 poems, and that will give us a sense. And also, this story is about Reha, who feels torn between 2 worlds: school, where she's the only Indian American student, and home, where with her family and community. And Rajani in real life went to a private high school. And so I think that also might have been the case where there weren't a lot of Indian Americans in her high school. And anyway, she feels disconnected from her mother or her ama. And then Reha finds out her ama is sick, really sick. Reha, who dreams of being a doctor, even though the sight of blood makes her woozy, is determined to make Reha well. She becomes fixated on red and white blood cells, facing her fear and becoming the daughter her parents want her to be, because she has no idea how she can go on if the moon is missing from her sky. So it's also about, Rajani said, I think because I heard her speak, Reha thinks the only way to, get her mother well is just to be the perfect Indian daughter. Which is hard because she is walking 2 worlds, living 2 worlds. So this is the first page, and I think this might be one of her keystone poems. I think there's just one, but honestly, I can't remember which one she said it was. 2. I have 2 lives, one that is Indian, one that is not. I have 2 best friends, one who is Indian, one who is not. At school, I swim in a river of white skin and blonde hair and brown hair and blue eyes and green eyes and hazel, school subjects and giggles about boys, salad and sandwiches, and on weekends, I float in a sea of brown skin and black hair and dark eyes, MTV music videos and giggles about boys, samosas and sabjis. In both places I have gossip and laughter, music and silence, friendship. But only in one place do I have my parents. And then this is another, which is the title of the book. And I thought was so genius is that she structured the book around 2 things. One is red, white, and whole, which kind of references all American red, white, and blue, but it also is the 3 kinds of blood cells that we have, which I didn't even know that. And she also references 80s music because, when she was 12, I think we're close in age, 80s music was sort of the soundtrack of middle school, junior high. And so I think this whole referencing and using the structure of blood cells, I think is so powerful, and it just gave the book, I don't know, just the underpinnings, that kind of makes it all come together. So anyway, this could be a keystone poem as well. I'm not quite sure. Red, White, and Whole. Alma works in the hematology lab at the hospital. She spins the blood and counts the cells in the complete blood count. She counts the red cells that carry oxygen, the platelets that stop bleeding, and the white cells, the warriors protecting us from invaders, at least if they're doing what they're supposed to do. Cells and plasma together are called whole blood, which is what flows inside us, red, white, and whole, the precious river in our arteries, our veins, our hearts. And also, I should have mentioned that Rajani is also a doctor, internal medicine, Harvard Medical School. So all these medical references are something that, would be second nature to her. So I don't know if you can hear the spinning in the background of my very loud washing machine, but let that also be the soundtrack of her Alma's blood cell or hematology lab that's spinning the blood and counts the cells. But anyway, this is a pretty incredible book. I'm still reading it, but it's so, and for anyone who's thinking about, how can I write a novel in verse, I think read this book and you'll feel like she'll just inspire you.